The world is not controlled by the smartest people. It is not led by the kindest, the most talented, or the hardest working. Look around you. The people at the top, the ones who get attention, resources, and respect, operate with a very different kind of system. You were taught that intelligence is about IQ, solving problems, and memory. That is the lie given to workers so they stay productive. Real power uses another kind of mind, a dark intelligence. It is the skill to read the hidden movements of human behavior, to understand what is communicated without words, to detach from the need to be liked, and instead shape the world around you. Most people move through life half asleep, reacting to emotions they do not understand, influenced by force. Most people talk just to avoid the emptiness. They are afraid of silence because silence forces them to face themselves. So they ramble, they explain too much, they overshare, and they give away the blueprint of their mind to anyone willing to listen. And by doing this, they become predictable. And if you are predictable, you can be controlled. Dark intelligence begins when you stop using words to get approval and start using them as sharp tools. Machiavelli understood that the person who speaks the least in a room holds the most power. Why? Because information is a form of currency. When you talk, you are spending. When you listen, you are gathering. Think about the last time someone intimidated you. Was it the person shouting and making threats? No, it was the person who stayed completely still, watching you quietly. That silence creates a vacuum, and human nature hates a vacuum. When you stay silent, other people feel pressured to fill that empty space. They start talking. They reveal their intentions. They expose their insecurities. They tell you exactly how to defeat them. And all of this happens because they cannot handle the weight of your silence. Stop explaining yourself. Stop defending your actions. Stop giving your opinion before someone asks for it. Become a black hole of information. Absorb everything. Reveal nothing. When people cannot read your position, they cannot plan against you. They grow cautious. They start seeking your approval. Silence is not just the absence of sound, it is the presence of control. Number 2, the Law of Strategic Amorality. This is where you will feel pushback. You are trained to look at every situation, every person, and every result through a simple moral filter: good or bad, fair or unfair, right or wrong. This moral filter is a chain around your neck. The Machiavellian mind does not ask if something is good or bad, it asks if it is effective or ineffective. When a predator hunts its prey, is it evil? No, it is necessary. When a storm destroys a house, is it cruel? No, it is natural. You suffer because you force your moral system onto a chaotic world. You get upset when someone betrays you because you think they shouldn't have done that. You get sad when you lose an opportunity because you think it wasn't fair. Dark intelligence requires you to rise above this emotional judgment. Look at reality the way a mechanic looks at an engine. If a car won't start, the mechanic doesn't call the engine evil. He finds the broken part and repairs or replaces it. When someone attacks you, don't waste time being offended. Offense is for the weak. Instead, analyze. Why did they attack? What do they want? Where is their leverage? How do you neutralize it? This is strategic amorality. It does not mean you lack ethics. It means your ethics do not blind you to how power works. You can still be a good person, but you must be a strategist first. Because a good person without power is not virtuous, just a future victim. Stop asking, why did they do this to me? And start asking, what does this move allow me to do next? Number 3, the Law of Controlled Vulnerability. Many people think the Machiavellian or darktriad personality is emotionless, distant, or unfeeling. But that is the beginner level. That is someone pretending to be tough. True dark intelligence understands that humans are emotional beings. If you seem too perfect, too cold, or too invincible, you create envy. You create enemies who want to hurt you just to prove you are not untouchable. So you must offer them a flaw. This is the law of controlled vulnerability. You intentionally show a small, safe weakness to lower people's defenses. Maybe you admit you are bad with technology. Maybe you share a mildly embarrassing story from your past. Maybe you ask for small, meaningless favors. This activates the Ben Franklin effect. When people help you or when they notice a harmless flaw in you, they relax. They feel superior or they feel a friendly connection. They think, he's just like me. Perfect. That is exactly where you want them. While they are bonding with the flaw you carefully showed them, they do not notice your real strengths. You are shaping how they see you. You are making yourself human enough so you do not become a target. But your real core, your real plans, and your real weaknesses stay locked away in a vault they do not even know exists. Never expose your throat, but occasionally show a scratch on your arm. It makes them feel safe, and a relaxed enemy is an easy enemy to outmaneuver. Number 4, the law of the mirror. We live in a world full of narcissism. Everyone is obsessed with their own image. They are acting in their own movie, and everyone else is just a background character. Your mistake is trying to become the star in their movie. You try to impress them, you try to show your intelligence. Stop. Dark intelligence teaches that you should not try to outshine them. Instead, become a mirror. Reflect their feelings back at them. If they are angry, acknowledge their anger. If they are excited, meet their excitement. Use their phrases. Match their body language. When you mirror someone, a strong psychological effect takes place. They do not really see you, they see themselves. And because people love themselves, they will love you. They will believe you are intelligent, charming, and deeply understanding, even if you barely speak. This is not being fake. It is a method of collecting information. When you mirror, you are not reacting emotionally. You are observing. You are learning their triggers, their values, and their vulnerabilities. While they fall in love with their own reflection in your eyes, you are mapping their mind. You are discovering the keys that allow you to influence them. The mirror has no ego. It simply reflects. Be the mirror. Let them show off and admire themselves. And while they are distracted by their own image, you move the pieces on the board without them ever realizing. Number 5. The law of outcome independence. The root of anxiety is being attached to the outcome. You want the job. You want the relationship. You want the respect. And because you want it so badly, you reveal desperation. You reveal scarcity. And in the rules of power, scarcity is unattractive. People avoid those who need them. They chase those who can live without them. You must build a state of radical outcome independence. This mindset says, I will work for this, I will plan for this, but if I do not get it, I will still be fine. This is not giving up. This is the ultimate power move. When you are truly willing to walk away from the negotiation table, you hold all the leverage. When you are willing to lose the relationship, you set the standards. Machiavelli knew that the fear of loss turns you into a slave. If your boss knows you are terrified of losing your job, he controls you. If your partner knows you are terrified of being alone, they control you. You must mentally accept the worst-case scenario. Imagine losing everything. Make peace with it. Understand that you would survive. Once you kill the fear of loss, you become dangerous. You become untouchable. You can speak the truth because you do not fear the consequences. You can take risks because you do not fear the fall. The person who needs nothing is the one who eventually gains everything because they act from abundance, not from desperation. Number 6. The law of the useful enemy. Most people want a peaceful life. They want everyone to like them. They avoid conflict no matter what. This is a biological mistake. Conflict builds intelligence. Without resistance, your mind grows weak. Machiavelli advised the prince not only to be ready for war, but to study it constantly. Dark intelligence understands the value of an enemy. An enemy sharpens you. An enemy forces you to concentrate. An enemy exposes your weaknesses so you can repair them. Without an enemy, you become lazy. You become inflated with your own ego. Sometimes you must use friction from rivals to push yourself forward. Look at history. Tesla needed Edison. Ali needed Fraser. Friction produces fire. Do not complain about the people trying to stop you. Use them. Let their hate power your discipline. Let their doubt prove your ambition. And more importantly, a common enemy is the fastest way to build alliances. Nothing brings people together faster than a shared threat. If you want to unite a team, a family, or a movement, you do not preach love. You identify a threat. Do not fear the enemy. Select them. Choose an enemy worthy of your potential and let the conflict raise you higher. Number 7. The law of the persona. You think you are one single person. You believe in being authentic. This is a limitation. You are many versions of yourself. You act differently with your mother than with your boss. You behave differently with your lover than with your rival. Dark intelligence is the intentional shaping of these masks. It is understanding that so-called authenticity is often just a lack of self-control. "I'm just being myself," says the man who ruins a dinner party with his anger. That is not authenticity, that is immaturity. You must treat your personality as a tool. When you enter a high-stakes meeting, you must wear the mask of authority, cold, decisive, steady. When you are with your family, you wear the mask of the protector, warm, attentive, present. This is not lying, this is calibration. You do not use a hammer to tighten a screw. You do not use a screwdriver to hit a nail. So why would you use the same personality for every situation in life? Machiavelli observed that a prince must be a great pretender and a great disguiser. He must be able to be the lion, fierce, and the fox, clever. If you are only the lion, you fall into traps. If you are only the fox, the wolves destroy you. Flexibility is survival. Be like water. Take the shape of the container you enter. When the container breaks, you flow. You do not break apart. Number 8. The law of necessary suspicion. People say trust but verify. No, that is too gentle. Verify first, then trust, but only conditionally. The naive mind projects its own goodness onto others. You think, "I wouldn't lie to him, so he won't lie to me." This projection creates your deepest heartbreaks. Dark intelligence accepts a harsh truth. Everyone acts for their own self-interest. Even acts of kindness often come from the desire to feel good about oneself. This is not a reason to become bitter, it is a reason to stay awake. You must develop a constant level of suspicion, not paranoia. Paranoia is fear without evidence. Suspicion is careful attention to detail. Watch what people do, not what they say. Words are cheap. Words are crafted to influence. Actions are the only reality. When someone gives you a great opportunity, ask, what is in it for them? When someone praises you too much, ask, what are they trying to distract me from? Machiavelli wrote, "Men are so simple and so ready to obey present needs that the deceiver will always find people willing to be deceived. Do not be one of those people. Demand proof. Test loyalty before depending on it. Give people small pieces of power and see how they use it before you give them the kingdom. It is better to be pleasantly surprised by loyalty than destroyed by betrayal." Number 9. The law of the shadow. We end with the deepest law, the one Carljung and Machiavelli would both support, even though they lived in different centuries. You must integrate your monster. Society tells you to be harmless, to be polite, to suppress your anger, your ambition, and your desire for power. But a harmless man is not a good man. A harmless man is simply a weak man. He cannot do good because he does not have the strength to stop evil. Dark intelligence is the understanding that you are capable of terrible actions. You have the ability to be cruel. You have the ability to manipulate. You must not deny this. You must accept it. Why? Because if you do not understand your own darkness, you will never see it in others. Music. You will be naive, and worse, if you push down your shadow, music, it will control you. It will show up as passive aggression, resentment, and self-sabotage. You must bring the inner monster into the light. You must face it and say, "I, music, see you, I control you." When you know you could destroy someone, but you choose not to, music, that is real virtue. That is controlled power. Machiavelli's ideal leader was not a saint. Music. He was someone who understood how to use hard methods for meaningful purposes. You need that sharpness. You need that darkness in your eyes that tells music, the world, "I am peaceful by choice, not because I am weak." When you accept your shadow, you become complete. You stop fearing the darkness in the world because you have mastered the darkness, music inside yourself. These 9 laws are not just a checklist, they are a new lens. From now on, when you enter a room, you will notice everything differently. You will hear the silence that speaks loudly. You will see the mirrors people hold, music up. You will recognize the lions and the foxes. You are no longer a civilian in the war of the mind, you are a fighter. But with this strength comes a weight of isolation. When you wake up, you notice how many are still music sleeping. You will feel a gap forming between you and your old life. Your old friends might say you changed. They may say you are colder, music quieter. Let them talk. You are removing the mindset of a victim. You are letting go of the need for approval. You are walking music into the realm of the outlier. The question is not whether these laws work. Music. History has proved their power for thousands of years. The real question is, do you have the courage to use them? Most people will watch this video, music agree for a moment, and then return to being prey, to complaining, music to hoping the world suddenly becomes kind. But you, yes, you, are still here. You are listening, music to the silence. If you are ready to look into the abyss without fear, if you are ready to tear down music, the weak version of yourself, and create something unbreakable, then you know your next step. Subscribe, music, but only if you are prepared for what follows. The rabbit hole goes far deeper than this, and we are only beginning. I'll see music you in the shadows.